Hello everyone, welcome to a bot build showcase, where we're gonna check out the jump capacitor Heavy Nelly, and we're gonna do a comparison between how it used to be and how it is now. So as I said, it's the heavy jump capacitor Nelly. So just in itself, you should get kind of a hint of how it's built. This guy is a tank. And as such, he's terribly slow. You can see his jump acceleration is quite low, and his max speed is 17 kilometers an hour. I've outfitted him with heat armor and AFPS armor, so you can see he has almost 60% resistance against AP and almost 43% against heat. I rock system hardenings and, as I said, fully T3 jump capacitors. Let's have a brief look at my Manglers. They're triple magazines and a reinforced ammunition for the biggest burst damage that Manglers can deliver. Because this guy is gonna jump out of cover, unleash as much damage as possible while being exposed. This is why he's built as a tank, to survive that, and then he's gonna jump back in cover again. Or at least that's the theory. So this is how we used to work before the update before the last update and the following hotfix. And if I'm not mistaken, that's 2.1.2. As you can see, he is quite slow. Sadly, I do not have the stats recorded of how he used to be. I only have this footage from a game. It's a 2 versus 2, by the way, so we're not gonna see any AI, which is very good for back then. The AI was horrible. As you might know, the AI in this latest update has been modified to emulate I wouldn't say human-like. Yeah, I would say human-like behavior. They act as individuals and do stupid stuff, and they aren't very hard to kill anymore. So you can see I'm slowly working myself into the action here. And I'm not jumping because I'm utilizing the cover of the buildings. So this has always been a build. It hasn't been a favorite build of mine, but it is very good because that Nelly is so strong, and you can of course build it differently to max out its AFPS resistance. But even though you're jumping every 5 seconds, and I'm not jumping that much because I'm keeping cover, because I'm up against two very skilled players who will pounce on any exposed enemies, and they will exploit all weaknesses and etc. So even if it's so slow, being able to jump every 5 seconds is really valuable. And you can see the jump is pretty decent by itself, even though you're rocking all heavy armor. So this tank has an insane survivability, with the drawback that it's pretty useless once one of its rather large legs get shot out. This build has never been a favorite of mine, simply because it is so slow in getting around the map, and if you're in, like, let's say a fast Ravager or a Shon, you're able to outrun me. I am not running I'm running system hardenings. I'm not running the usual EMP protection. And in a player versus player environment, I would definitely want to have EMP protection, because a single stun and they take out my leg, and then I can just as well ditch my bot. And having full EMP protection would allow you to then the Sean would have to do a perfect run. He would have to stun you and immediately shoot out your leg. Not like Carpet did there. But they're stripping my weapons, and this bot is pretty beat up. But as you can see, very much a tank and kind of mobile, even though it moves slowly. And this is some footage I just recorded. I'm randomly dropping against this Russian player whose name I can't pronounce, but I've played him several times before, and he's a very decent player. And if you notice, one of the major changes, even though the jump seems to be perhaps a little bit shorter, you can see when you land, you do this weird hobbled step, sort of. And I really dislike that, because that will mess with your aim in the first second after you land, which is kind of vital for this build. And here you can see again why I'm not particularly fond of this build, because I feel even though you're able to jump out and unleash a lot of damage, when you're exposed after your jump, you are so immobile that you lack all agility to do. Like there, I jumped back into cover, but I wasn't fully back in cover, so it would take me a year to get back in full cover. And if you need to adjust your position by 10 meters because someone had partial cover or something, you're basically effed with a jump capacitor build. Also, if you go accelerators over jump capacitors, you have the added benefit of still having a rather... You're quite mobile even if your leg is shot out and your jump is gone. And that is an immense... that's immensely helpful. And as I've said before, I find that I need that fine agility for the when you're just positioning yourself. You're positioning yourself so slowly. So, yeah. That's it for now. Hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.